Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of Dream Drop Long Distance, a fun little podcast about reconnecting over childhood memories and rekindling the Palpu fruit that is our long connected hearts.
I tried to stay quiet to that one, but the Palpu fruit line, good God.
No, it's fine. It's kind of our logo, Mitchell. Jeez. So this is normally the time that I'd give a recap of the world that we were just in, which was Atlantica. Last we left off, there was a question dangling in the air. Mitch, do you want to restate the question for us?
So we've got this cabal of villains has been kidnapping princesses for some reason, and I left the question up to Kyle. If you were King Mickey, who would you go to draft into your League of Extraordinary Disney characters to battle against this cabal of villains? And we left it at that. And I hope you had a chance to kind of think about it since the last time we recorded.
Let's just say it's been a busy week. I haven't had a whole lot of time to think.
I feel that. I came up with mine last night while we were eating dinner. I was just kind of like running through my head of a couple that I can think would be good against these villains. I think I have a good list. I think I have a good one.
I threw mine together in like 5 minutes, admittedly, all of them are actually Kingdom Hearts characters, which wasn't intentional, but I'm kind of proud of. So,
well, there you go. Well, then we will, I'd say, as a treat for everybody who sticks around till the end, that is where we're going to talk about it. But in the meantime...
Or if you don't care about it, it'll be at the end, so you can just skip it. Who cares?
Yeah, or just skip to that. That'll probably be a fun combo anyway. But if you do, then you miss out learning about the next world that we went to.
One of our all-time favorite worlds, and probably a favorite of a lot of people who grew up in this late 90s into 2000s era of emo and goth and just everything dark. We are going to the fantastic world of Halloween Town. Yes, Halloween Town from the Disney Channel original movie Halloween Town, where we're going to fight against the powerful magician Calabar. And
Stop it.
Where are we actually going, Mitch?
No, we are going to the Halloween Town that is inhabited by a lot of little ghouls, ghosts, and the citizens of Halloween Town and their leader, Jack Skellington, because we are actually in the Halloween Town coming from the movie Nightmare Before Christmas.
Ah, a classic, a true classic.
I will say, Kyle, this is, I don't know mechanically if it's my favorite level, but the setting and the overall aesthetic of it, I've always loved this level.
Yeah, and honestly, it starts right from the beginning, too, of you land and you look amazing and ridiculous at the same time.
Yes. Can you give us some detail? What do we look like? What do our characters look like?
For starters, I'm going to save the best for last here. For starters, Goofy is very fittingly turned into something like Frankenstein. Frankenstein's monster. Donald is a mummy for reasons that truly escape me. And Sora has been given a head-to-toe makeover and looks incredible. There's no one thing that I can say that he looks like. It is a very original design, and I like it a lot for that. Especially the little pumpkin mask that's kind of attached to his hair. Ugh.
Yeah, they kind of gave him it's like a little bit over his hair, a little bit over his right eye. They gave him these little wings that he doesn't actually use. He's got, they all have a very distinct kind of spooky Halloween look. It's one of my favorites in the game. And this is now the second time that we've seen especially right after Atlantica, it's like all of a sudden now it's like these characters are starting to see the benefit of not looking like they're from another world.
Yeah, can I just say, it kind of feels like the game developers were getting more comfortable at this point. Some of the earlier worlds were very simple. Like Wonderland, for example, was so basic. I mean, some rooms of it anyway. Like the Mad Tea Party room, the Bazaar room, there were some things that were really cool about that. But there were also moments where it just felt small and constrained, and everything was kind of simple. The Olympus Coliseum is 3 rooms and nothing else.
Yeah.
Where here we have a deeper exploration of what they can do, which almost feels like it happened because just in the previous world, they had to transform the characters because they couldn't breathe underwater.
Yeah.
But here they're just transforming for fun to blend in.
I dig it a lot. And it helps to really kind of set the tone as you then, you wander around and you've got the classic like fountain in the middle spewing like this neon green water, oozy looking stuff. And it's all like wrought iron gates and all the buildings are made out of what looks like burnt wood. It immediately looks like the mind of Tim Burton. And I love it. It's so cool.
It's all kind of like decorative though. There's not a whole lot of substance behind it, but I don't mind that per se, because at least they were able to pull off the aesthetic, so I'm happy about that.
I'll take a hard-tried aesthetic and a little less substance versus, again, some of the, like you said, like Wonderland, where it was like, it wasn't like the most substantial looking place, and it's like the entire room is just like a square with some jumping platforms. At least this one, I felt like they tried to give it some flavor. It might have, when you cut into the steak wasn't that good, but it was seasoned well.
Yeah. So I liked this. I don't know why I'm not liking it as much as I did as a kid, though, because when I was a kid and I was just playing the game, I would just hang out just in that main little town square there. I would just go back from time to time and just hang out in there. I'd jump around, jump on top of things and do other abilities that we don't have right now. I would just hang out in this one little map just to be there.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's just one of those levels that speaks to you.
Hey.
For anybody who doesn't know, Kyle's a little emo kid.
It's like I grew up in the 2000s or something. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Everybody had a little angst growing up, how we did.
Yeah, not as much as Ariel, but we all had some angst.
Mm-hmm. No, and then you wind up, the mayor comes in and is freaking out about the Heartless that are around, and he calls a town meeting where really nobody shows up except for Jack Skellington.
Yeah, it is kind of weird that he gives this whole big announcement of, and Jack, and I don't know. But the main event of this particular thing is the Heartless, because they are not attacking or doing much of anything.
Yeah, they actually seem to be docile in this spooky place.
I don't know if it's because it's a spooky place or what, but it's very interesting that they just kind of don't do anything. You explore it a little bit, go into the doctor's lab in pursuit of Jack.
Which the doctor's lab has always been a very fun design for me. It's very Frankenstein's monster. The doctor takes his head off and scratches his brain when he's thinking.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And, he and Jack have been trying to figure out, the Heartless are something we can use for the Halloween celebration. It's like, guys, no.
They're not wrong. If their experiments were successful, they could have worked out pretty well.
Definitely could have.
They are pretty spooky looking, especially the ghosts that they were using, which it's interesting to see the ghosts a third level in a row, but whatever.
Yeah, they just kind of keep popping up.
But you and I haven't talked too much about the things that are in Ansem's reports.
We haven't, at least not yet.
Having kind of jumped ahead a little bit and having read more of it than I probably should have by this point, a lot of the things that they're doing remind me of the experiments that are laid out in the reports of just capturing Heartless and doing things to him and seeing what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong there, which almost makes you wonder, did Ansem travel to some of these places at some point and, meet people like the professor and kind of put that bug in his ear about the Heartless?
Yeah, I mean, or could pages of his report have gotten out into this realm? I mean, the doctor's got plenty of books on his shelf, including a page of Winnie the Pooh's book. So all sorts of things end up in his hands. So it's possible that he could have just read some of that stuff. So yeah, so some of the things that they're doing are They're trying to give the Heartless a heart.
It seems like that. They're kind of like, oh, maybe these things are easier to control if you give them a heart, which I don't know about that. But they try, and they wind up, being like, oh, it's if you add fear and confusion or what, I can't remember exactly what it was. Basically, they had like a frog, a bat, and all this other, like, so it's supposed to be icons of these emotions.
Yeah, I think it was like hope and despair was the snake eating itself, and memory from, well, we'll get to that, but
we'll get to that one. And they wind up trying, and it fails. Jack is dramatic as always. It's like, I don't understand, and the professor's like, oh, chill out. Stuff happens, but we got to figure out what's wrong here, because I think the professor does wind up creating what he thinks is a heart. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, and instead it only makes things worse, because that's what triggers the Heartless that were previously docile to start attacking.
Yes, because now they're like, ooh, a heart. And that's when, the moment you start walking, because I think he sends you to go and look for Sally, because he said, oh, maybe there's memory. Memory might be the key. He's like, Sally's definitely got that if you can find her. That's when you first walk out into the courtyard, and you are introduced to the swarm of Heartless that play in the courtyard.
It all starts out pretty simple, too. What I like is that it's Heartless that are known at first, but when you come back later into the same spot, there's different Heartless, which I think is a cool change on the part of the level.
Yeah, I completely agree. But then you wind up going the little side gate that brings you to the graveyard, where you get into a little bit of a fight with some Heartless, and then Sally comes out.
Yeah, Sally is just not a very compelling character in this version, or this telling of The Nightmare Before Christmas. I mean, she needed to be part of it. I get that, because it wouldn't be Nightmare Before Christmas if you didn't have Jack and Sally. But it's still kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they do kind of piece on the romance between them, and it really was just because they wanted to introduce the memory or whatever aspect of it. And so I forget what she gives you that is representative of memory.
If I had to take a guess, I want to say it's probably the flower Forget-Me-Not.
Oh, yep. I think that's what it was. You find Sally, and she gives you the Forget-Me-Not, which is the memory aspect of all of this. And you wind up taking that back to the professor's lab, because this is what he mentioned is the icon or whatever is going to represent memory and making this heart work. But before we even go that way, Kyle, I think at this point, if I remember correctly, was where we realized that we're being watched by Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
Mm-hmm. I like the way that they did this, which I think they really only did this at this point. For one, just to introduce those characters, but also it serves a second purpose, which is to point out that the map that you were just in goes farther.
Yes.
Because at first glance, it's like, oh, this is just a dead end. That's weird. Man, this world's small. But because they're in the coffin, you're like, oh, that's weird. I wonder if they're still in the coffin. So the next time that you go back, your mind is drawn to look at the coffin, and you realize that it's kind of ajar now.
Which is super clever.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like beating you over the head. It's just making you realize, like, oh, you can do that. You can get into a different area that these little shits just came out of, which I thought was extremely smart.
Definitely. So you, having been stalked, you now head back to the doctor, bring him his ingredients. He tries again, and it still doesn't work, I think. And I think you have to go back out again into that same little area, right? And find the mayor who gives you surprise, I think.
Yeah, you do. And the mayor, you wind up finding him. He's kind of just like off to the side.
Yeah, in a weird spot. The camera's even locked in that area, which is kind of frustrating, but I get it. I get why they had to do it to make the mini game a little more obvious.
And I'm trying to think what happens, because what does he give you? He gives you...
It's not even so much that he gives you anything. He just says, oh, watch out for the ghosts that come up, and you have to check the graves in the right order as ghosts pop out of it. And then... surprise, kaboom, the pumpkin explodes behind you, and there's your element of surprise. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is. I forget what the actual item is, but Jack in the Box, I think, maybe?
Yes, it was a Jack in the Box. That's what it was. You get a Jack in the Box. It's part of what it needs to make it work. You go back to the professor's lab. They try again, and this time, it works.
he's able to create it, but he's not able to put it into use because as he's bringing it over to the Heartless, out come Lock, Shock, and Barrel to trip the wheelchaired professor out of his chair, which sends the heart flying.
Which, first of all, rude.
Yeah.
And yeah, they do. They trip him and they take the heart. And of course, then Jack is like, after those little brats. And we chase them all the way back to the graveyard area and past that and into a whole other area. And we see them going up the very iconic curly
unfurling hill or something. I don't know what to call that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
riding in the bathtub. It's a very iconic scene, and they really harp on it a couple times too.
They do. You can tell that they're traveling to what is Oogie Boogie, the villain of this level's secret hideout. Which I guess maybe not secret hideout, because it seems like Jack and them very much know where he lives.
Yeah, they're just going to bother the annoying neighbor.
I don't think there's a whole lot really in between there. There's like some heartless fights and a couple little spots. But I mean, if you're cool, I really would love to dive into the area that is Oogie Boogie's place and then get into Oogie Boogie's fight.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to hear how the Oogie Boogie fight went for you because, well, you're not going to be happy with my answer.
So, you get to Oogie Boogie's place. Basically, it's this giant tree that's kind of gnarled and has all these buildings and stuff like sticking out of it. Very, very kind of creepy-esque. And you make your way up it, fighting a couple Heartless. And when you get in, you actually can't. You're looking for the entrance, and you make it to what is, I forget what it was called. It's like the evil bedroom, evil playroom or something. Basically, it's the room that Lock, Shock, and Barrel live in, and you get into a fight with them.
That fight was pretty straightforward for me. I feel like I'm getting over-leveled at this point, because I remember this fight being challenging before.
I remember it being challenging when I was a kid, especially once you use summons on them. They're pretty. I used Genie as a summon against them, and he wipes the floor with them.
I used Simba for that because he's really good for crowd control. Just annihilated them. He was a little hard to charge up because they do swarm you a lot, Shock and Barrel. But Simba was still able to really do some damage to them both, or to all three of them.
Genie did a good job because I figured out it was a little bit easier to pick them off one by one, and you could do his Showtime ability, and select which one you wanted, and he would just lay into them.
Oh, that's a good strategy, yeah.
That, along with me just kind of both comboing him, worked great. And yeah, it only took me one try. I thought it was actually way easier than I remember it being.
Mm-hmm. And you get a nice little save spot right after that, too, which is extremely helpful. There aren't enough of those in this world.
Super helpful. And, you get done with that, and they're basically like, we won't tell you where Oogie Boogie's hideout, or his entrance to his hideout is, or he might eat us. And you figure out really quickly, they're like, we're not going to tell you about the switch to get to open Oogie Boogie's door.
And we're not going to, you're never going to find the green room, or the green door. Oh, well, I think I will find it. Thank you.
It's like, you little goofballs. And you do. And you figure out all you have to do is hit the switch next to, I think it was Shock. Because I think Lock is the girl, Shock is the taller redhead, and Barrel is the short one, if I'm not mistaken. And so you hit the switch, and then you hear something open. And then you kind of wander around the tree a bit, trying to figure out where this green door is. And then you find out it's at the very base of the tree.
Yeah, and even then you have to go through. How did you get there? Because I went through a portal. I found a door. It's like I jumped off of one place and found a door that led downward. And I found the green door there by coincidence way too early on.
I think I did almost the same thing. I jumped off the top platform and happened to land. And I was like, what is that? I was like, oh, it's a green door. Like, completely by happenstance. Did not mean to find it when I found it.
No matter what, you do find your way over there and probably collect a bunch of treasure along the way and kick some heartless ass.
Yeah. You get in a couple little fights. But yeah, you do, and you wind up in Oogie Boogie's main room, which...
So wait, you didn't fall off of his tower at any time? You didn't fall?
No.
Because I fucking fell.
Oh, really?
I
mean, I could see why it was easy to fall, But yeah, I never really fell off.
Yeah, I fell, so I got to explore a little bit down there. There's a trinity you can do, which knocks a chest down. I think it's just got puppies in it or something like that. It's nothing too crazy, but it's like you have to get into the bathtub to ride back up.
Oh, no lie. Yeah, I don't think I ever did that. Huh. Well, damn.
Yeah, it's not fun. Don't fall off.
I actually have been trying to find most of the puppies, so just as like a fun little side thing. I'll have to go back and try to find it. But anyway, you find the green door, and you're in Oogie Boogie's main sanctum, which is this neon kind of roulette wheel of pain and misery. And he is above you, basically giving the whole spiel about like, I'm in control of the heartless here because I have this heart. And I believe he eats the heart.
Yeah, he eats it. He's like, you're looking for this? And he just eats it right in front of you.
It's like, Oogie, you little bastard. And then the fight goes. And the fight, I love this fight.
I used to think that this fight was really, really damn hard. Like, I was so frustrated by this fight every time I had to do it before. It was incredibly easy this time. Like, oh my God, I just breezed through this fight.
Yeah, I mean, once you figure out the mechanic, because basically it's, you have to place yourself in a certain spot on the board. And then that gives you access after he does a couple of these little gimmicky attacks to jump up and start bashing the hell out of him with your Keyblade.
It's even easier than that, really. All you have to do is just avoid attacks for a little bit. And then once the buttons are lighting up, then you just have to press a button that while Oogie is in front of that button. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. No, it was a very straightforward fight. And it only took, I think maybe took me 2 times just because I screwed up and I messed something up on the first try.
Yeah, no, it was crazy easy for me. I don't know why it was. I'm used to this fight being really hard. So I was like prepping myself. I was mentally getting myself ready. I was like, I could do this. I got this. It'll be, I can do this. It'll only take me a couple tries. And I just went in and breezed through it. I wasn't expecting that. Maybe it's because I'm not a child anymore.
I was supposed to say, maybe I'm an adult and I do big boy things.
Put my big boy pants on.
Yeah, but so you wind up beating him, and he drops the heart, and he does his whole sack body falling apart and bugs spilling out everywhere. Pretty creepy. And you have beaten him. Yeah, and he even gives you get a page of Ansem's report. You do. I think you get like your normal rewards, and you're like, oh, cool. All right, fight's over. Time to go. Yeah, and you go to leave, and everybody's walking out, but something happens though, right, Kyle? Yeah, he comes back from the dead and grows the size of his house and like becomes his house, and he's like on fire, and it's terrifying. Really, it's the only way to describe it. Yeah, it is he kind of like molds in around the gnarled tree, and like his face is kind of forming out of one branch and his arm is attached to another one. Yeah, it's pretty spooky for a kid's game. I was kind of surprised that they let that fly. Yeah, I kind of remember it being terrifying as a kid a little bit. Not like, oh God, but just like scary, like, ooh, geez, spooky stuff. Yeah, no, absolutely. But so that fight, I mean, you're not fighting him. Basically, what they do is they have these tumors of darkness. Tumors of darkness. This could be my new band name. Like these tumor-looking things of darkness attached to him. And you just have to kind of make your way all over his body and destroy these dark masses on him. And once you do that, you win the fight. He does have some gimmicks. Yeah, he's got like a big flaming cage that he slams into you from time to time, which I think you can actually defeat, but I wasn't going to bother with all that. No. This was a fun fight, though, to be honest with you. Like, you could tell they were trying to stretch the boundaries of what could be done on the PlayStation 2. Like, they were trying to have a big fight in a way that the game hadn't done before. Yeah, no, I completely agree. This was a lot of fun. The only thing that I didn't like about it was the one point where it's not straightforward, which is that there's one little purple tumor of darkness hanging out around the back that you have to, like, you can't just follow the pathway upward all the way around. You have to find the one hidden in the back. But other than that, great fight. I completely agree. All of those. There was that one. Funny enough, I found that one first because my brain went, oh, I'm going to take the path of most resistance and climb this thing in the stupidest way possible.
Of course.
Because I was trying to stay away from the front side of Oogie, where he has this torture cage that was hanging above his house normally, except now he's swinging it around on fire and he's dropping fireballs. And I was like, oh, I'm going to come at him from behind and hopefully he can't hit me with that. And it actually wound up working, which I was very surprised. I think the only time he ever actually got a hit on me was whenever I was in the front end trying to destroy the last two.
It wasn't too problematic. It was more for flavor than anything else because the Heartless that kept spawning, which honestly, part of me wanted to just stay in the fight for a while because Heartless were almost infinitely spawning. Like, this could have been a good way to just grind out some levels. But that's cheating.
It is. But, I mean, when have we never done that? But yes, so, I mean, you wind up doing that. You beat him. The house basically falls apart. And that's kind of it. I mean, you wind up going back to town. And Jack thanks you for everything. And kind of invites you back. I think he actually invites you back for Halloween, which I thought was pretty cute.
Yeah, he does. You know, hey, you want to be part of the Halloween celebration? Yeah. And I think Sally has the same idea too. That I think you might have to talk to her for her to say it. But he's like, why don't you just use these guys? They're plenty spooky enough. Mm-hmm. So
it's like, hell yeah, we'll come back for Halloween.
Do you think that was an illusion? Do you think Nomura knew that we were going to be coming back for Kingdom Hearts 2?
I can only hope so. I really, really hope. That would be really cool. I don't know, this level feels like there was still a lot, because I mean, we haven't even seen the Christmas stuff yet.
Nope, not at all. It's a whole half of the world we haven't gotten to.
Yeah, because Jack does go to Christmas Land, or whatever he calls it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so yeah, you get done with that, and you leave Halloween Town, and you get on the Gummy Ship. I think I maybe went back to Traverse Town to go see if there were any new upgraded weapons for Donald and Goofy, which there aren't.
Still? Man.
I know, they really do not give you a lot of upgrade opportunity with them as they level up. Like, we're almost like, we're close to level 40 by this point, level 30 something, but like high level 30s. And it still is not, like, I think we've maybe gotten 2 for them each.
Yeah, I mean, to really get upgrades, you have, I'd say there's 2 main pathways to getting good weapons for them at this point, and that's synthesis.
Yeah,
is one, which is a lot of effort, but it is technically their best weapons. Mm-hmm. But the other pathway is to fight even harder Heartless that we'll run into soon, we'll say.
Okay, huh? Yeah, I didn't know about that one.
When it comes up, when we get to such a world that you could do such a thing, I'll let you know.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So we've finished Halloween Town. We can pause here in terms of the worlds because we haven't gone on anything new. There's nothing currently new at the Coliseum.
Yeah, there's really only one place left to go, and that's Neverland, which we haven't played yet. We will get there very soon.
Yeah, Neverland will be up next. I'm excited for that one. That's a fun level from what I remember. It has been quite a while, though, since I've touched it.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot to talk about there, too, because there's a lot of story exposition, because we already know that Riku and Kairi are there.
Yes, they are. They definitely are. But if we're done with that, I think we can jump into, real quickly, before we wrap up this episode, we had a question at the beginning of the episode that I brought up to you about who would be your dream team to fight the cabal of villains alongside King Mickey. And you said you have a list, and I'm curious who, and I would like explanations for each.
Okay, I'll try my best. Okay, so I said at the start that each of these characters is in Kingdom Hearts, and I apologize if that's a spoiler for some of these characters, because you may not even know that one of these is in here. So right off the top, I have to put Simba. Like, I'm biased. That's just clever. That's my one freebie. Like, I'm biased.
Good one.
Simba's going in. He's king of the jungle. He's got some good physical damage. He'll be good.
Funny enough, I actually took him off my list, but he was on there.
I could see taking him off. There are definitely some strong contenders out there. Stitch, absolutely unkillable. Like, unstoppable. He's got guns. He's got 6 arms or something. Like, he's unstoppable creature. Hard to hit. Unpredictable, a true winner right there. I mean, you're going to have somebody directing him, which is why it's good that King Mickey's there. But as long as King Mickey's there to rein him in, he's a great force for this.
God damn you. That was my number one. Anyway, keep going.
Genie. Easy peasy.
Oh my God.
Easy
Kyle,
peasy.
we have to quit knowing each other.
No, these are just obvious, man. These are so obvious. Like, you have to put these people on there. Like, Stitch and Genie are unstoppable forces, each in their own way.
That's a team. Those two alone is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally just have Mickey and those two, and that'd be plenty.
Yeah. Okay, but so you still have 3.
2 more. Because Simba, Stitch, Genie.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, gotcha.
So the next one I have is Mulan.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, gotta have a little warrior princess action in there. Have a little distract him with beauty and then slice the hell out of him. Whatever strategy she decides to employ. Even if she was just there to be a tactician, I think Mulan would be a fantastic addition to the team.
I agree.
And I think every team needs a healer, which is why I put Baymax as my 5th.
That's awesome. No, I love that. That is a good team to round out.
Yeah, I think they'd be able to put up a fight.
Okay. Yeah.
What did you do?
So you stole my number 1, Stitch, for sure. I think Stitch is a little fireball, and it is very hard to hit him. And I think he's super strong, super smart. Great addition to a team. And I think, you send him in before anybody else, cause a lot of chaos, and then everybody else come in. He's like a one-man Navy SEAL team.
Oh, yeah. You put him in somewhere to draw all the enemy fire there. He's able to take it all on his own and just blast through it all and keep causing chaos while you sneak in another way. Oh, that's genius, yeah.
Yep. I would say next up, because I was like, okay, who can I put in to handle Maleficent? And you're going to laugh, Elsa from Frozen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she would do it.
Everything Maleficent does is kind of like flying, fire breathing. Elsa is I think would be her kryptonite. And she packs a lot of punch. And she's also shown that she can be a little bit of a healer when she wants to, but she's more there for the magical ability.
Dude, I'd love to see just Elsa in a real fight. I would too. That'd be something to see.
I really would too. That would be pretty awesome. Obviously, I think Genie counters Jafar and Ursula pretty easily.
As we've proven in each of these boss fights.
Exactly. I think he's an outstanding addition to any team. And he's it's a Swiss Army knife. He can kind of do whatever you need him to do at the time.
What's that? You got a locked door?
Yeah, you got a locked door? Boom. You got Flotsam and Jetsam are giving you some issues? Boom, boom. They're both kittens. And then my final 2, one of them, I decided to go a little more aggressive with my final 2. First one, Hercules.
Okay. Demigod. Can't go wrong there.
Demigod. I mean, he's fought the Hydra. He can handle Hades. He can take some swings. And then my very final one, Beast.
Ooh, I almost put him on mine too. Beast is good.
Yep. I think he is your tank. He is your, outside of Hercules. If you have those 2 back to back, not only can they support each other, but them protecting the support characters, I think you've got a hell of a team.
Man. What's interesting is I think that neither of us named any characters that aren't in Kingdom Hearts at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know about Baymax, so that's the only one I could think. I had thought about adding Merlin as a support character.
Yeah, that's reasonable. He'd be a good contrast to Maleficent too.
I was like, Merlin, Genie, Merlin. I was like, Genie's better. I had even thought about, instead of Beast, it was going to be Baloo.
Baloo. Oh, man. That'd be so fun to see.
I was like, that would be fun. Him or Bagheera.
Ooh, yeah. That would do it.
Bring in the Jaguar, man. I mean, I don't know if I'd have put him in a fight. Now, if Shere Khan or something would have been in this one, if this would have had like a Jungle Book style villain, that would have been an interesting fight.
Man, I can't even imagine a Jungle Book world for Kingdom Hearts. It'd be so... I feel like it would be boring. at least by comparison to The Lion King.
Oh, yeah, Lion King. I mean, Lion King seals the deal. I did have Simba down because I was like, oh man, that would be really cool. I think he's strong. He'd be a very firm character, could take a lot of hits, could dish out. But I was just like, I think Hercules would be a better fit for these guys than Simba. But yeah, I mean, that's a good team. I like your team. Baymax was a very interesting addition, and I love the choice because he is super versatile and will keep your team going until somebody somehow takes his little squishy self out.
Yeah, it was kind of a cheap answer, but at the same time, that's the whole point of this, is to pick cheap answers to try and have as strong as a team as possible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Cheese it till you win.
Destiny style.
Well, good deal, man. Well, that was fun. I wasn't sure what you were going to bring, but I did find it funny that we came up with a few of the same answers. Yeah,
well, the pool was a little bit limited. What am I going to say? Chicken Little? Come on.
Yeah, hey, don't sleep on Chicken Little. I think that's about it for this episode. Next week we'll jump into one of the final worlds that we'll be traveling to.
Will we finally save Kairi? Will we bring Riku back to the good side? Probably not.
At this point, doubtful.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you for the talk again, and thanks everybody for listening again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for joining us. This is a fun little journey that we're all going on.
Yeah, and we will continue it next week. Talk to y'all soon.
See ya.
Hey there, Kingdom Hearts fans. Thanks for listening to the episode. Dream Drop Long Distance is hosted by Mitchell Orsino and Kyle Bradshaw, and is produced by Kyle Bradshaw. Our theme music was written and recorded by Alex McLean.